All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Ba'ashem Kodash, the donors to the elders and apostles of greatness stone. Shalom to the elect which in this word in truth and in sincerity, with the hope of receiving mercy of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh is the name of his only begotten Son. The so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites according to the prophecies that are written in the scriptures. I want to make it known that the RFID microchip is the charagma written about in Revelation 13 verse 16 and down, which is the MOTB. The miracle jug is the precursor to the MOTB. Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, is about to make his return upon the earth to deliver his elect and to pour out judgment, as it is written. And right now, you see a lot of things transpiring upon the earth right now in which the common man don't have a clue what's going on here. But these are all signs by Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. In Matthew 24, verse 3, the disciples asked the Lord, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Talking about end of this age, yo. And the Lord declares certain things unto his disciples. So now we hear of wars and rumors of wars. And to see that he be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And we are seeing these things coming to pass before our eyes right now. You have conflict brewing all around the world. But this is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh's determination, as it is written in Zephaniah. So this is his determination, to gather all nations to pour upon them his indignation. So this is Joel 3 verse 9. Proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into sword, and your pruning hook into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourself and come, all ye heathens, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither, cast thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh, and the mighty ones represent the angels, because right now the angels are work on the minds of the kings of the earth. Let the Eden be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh judge. For there will I sit to judge all the Edens round about. And this is what the Lord is preparing to do, That's why there's so much conflict being brewed around the world. So I'm going to run this clip so you have an idea what I'm talking about.
Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here, back again with a daily dose of doom and gloom. Holy SHTF. World War III is about to simultaneously break out on 4...
I'm going to make a list what him just say, but him just make a nice point. Doom and gloom. This is Joel 2 verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the morning spreadeth upon the mountains. And this is what we're declaring, gloominess, darkness is about to take hold upon the earth. This is what's coming, So going back to this clip.
Polar fronts, as we've been predicting for some time. We're talking about Taiwan, South China Sea. We're talking about South and North Korea. We're talking about the Iranian-Israeli Middle Eastern conflagration, as well as Eastern Europe, all flaring up at the exact same time, thanks to this one graph right here. Thank you, Lynette Zhang, for bringing this to my attention once again. I hope to have her on the channel soon. We're going to explain how this graph, the macroeconomic, relates to the geopolitical. You need to understand that these three graphs, United States military bases, the 4 wars going on right now, and this one graph of federal debt held by foreign and international investors, that is U.S. treasuries, U.S. dollars, how it all relates. We're going to talk about that and more today. Oh, Mad Vlad apparently to launch a preemptive strike in just a few weeks, according to the very esteemed, non-tabloid at all news agency called The Sun. Probably bullshit. But we're going to talk about what really is about to transpire. Now, this graph. So this is all the money, all the US dollars that are out there in circulation by foreign investors who aren't spending it, they're holding on to it. Because if they spent it, if they went and cashed in their chips, you're talking about hyperinflation, the likes of which the world has never possibly seen. It would make the Weimar Republic seem like a joke. Now, as we can see here, in the 70s, barely had any foreign investors holding our debt. And we come up here to the 2000 dot-com bubble. I believe that these things denote recessionary periods. Okay, so we had the dot-com bubble and traded sideways a little bit, coming up to the great quantitative easing that happened. And sure enough, the amount of dollars in the system exploded. Modern monetary theory had its heyday. But now, lately, look at this. It's been trading sideways a little bit. That's kind of scary, isn't it? If you are the global financiers. And then, as you can see here, coming up through COVID, brief COVID fake recession there. And now, of course, we're in the real recession. Of course, we're never going to call it anything because we're living in the age of denial. They're going to deny. Understand this. They will deny until your hair is falling out and you're getting acute radiation sickness. They'll deny anything bad is going to happen. But look at this. Lynette talked about this. We got to talk about this. This is crazy. This is everything you need to know right here. It's all you need to know. Just know this and then go to bed. Look at this peak. Q4 2021. We got 7.75 trillion approximately in money out there circulating. Okay? And there's just so many dots I could connect right now, but we're just going to try to keep it simple. Now, you can see that people are starting to divest in a rapid rate, in a way which is not really seen before in history. There has been some definite downturns, like here in 99, in 1 year, almost 25% of the foreign treasuries were returned. But right now, the concern, because of everything that's going on in the world, is that let's think about SPAC stock. Okay, imagine that the US dollar is a SPAC stock, like a meme stock. Okay, if you get out at the top, your money is going to be worth the most. If you can turn this into some hard asset while it's at the top, you're going to be able to buy the most. If you wait until it drops, then guess what? It's not going to be able to buy as much. You can buy as much gold as you possibly can when it's at the top. As soon as countries start cashing in their chips, the money becomes more and more devalued. And that is not going to allow you to buy as much precious metals, hard assets, whatever the case might be. So we run the risk of this reaching a critical mass of sell-off where people just start divesting from the dollar. The question is, why would they divest from the dollar? Well, there's a good reason for that, guys. The reason why they're going to divest from the US dollar is because US military supremacy is waning around the world. That's what the Ukraine...
Well up. Just well up. Let's jump back in the scriptures, yeah? Alright, so this is Habakkuk 2, verse 4. It says, Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home. And just look how much military base the United States have around the world, yo. Who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nation, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So we want to find out what this word thick clay mean. So if we look up words, so we can get the understanding. Alright, so we look up thick clay. So the Hebrew word is aibathiat, which means weight of pledge, heavy debt, yo. And one of the thing them right now in which the nations are looking at is military wise, America is waning, yo. They're waning. Because one of the reasons, I should say, US money is backed by their military might. And also by the petro, they refer to it as being the petrodollar. But Saudi Arabia come out recently saying them are going to start use other currencies to start doing the trading of oil. Could be gold, could be silver. Let's see. But all these nations are looking at Mr. Babylon the Great somewhere right now, yo. That's why it's written in. Wait, hold on. It's written in Jeremiah. Let me get to that. Jeremiah. Let's see. This is Jeremiah 51 verse 7. Babylon had been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And this is what you see playing out now. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. All for her take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. This is what's taking place upon the earth right now, yo. These countries are going to forsake Babylon, yo. And majority of them want Lego the US debt where them have. Talking about the US dollar. Because the dollar is not backed by anything, yo, than the US military, yo, and the trust what people have in the US. Coming from in the 1970s when the President Nixon removed the dollar from the gold standard, the dollar is just floating, yo, as a bank note, nothing else. So going back to this.
Around the world. That's what the Ukraine war is all about. That's what the war with China is all about. That's what the Middle Eastern conflict is all about, especially with the petrodollar being at stake. This is what the whole system is built around. It's all about the global financial system. Understand that. This is why a paltry, relative to what they stand to lose, a paltry $100 billion thrown into this conflict, hell, $10 trillion thrown into this conflict, pales in comparison to the economic catastrophe that would result, well, for the Americans anyways, maybe not for the rest of the world, from the US dollar collapsing. If the US dollar collapses, you don't just stand to lose $1 trillion wasted on a pointless conflict. You stand to lose everything. And the global financiers know this. This is why they're all trying to keep the whole thing afloat. And everybody is playing their part. Everybody has their hand in the cookie jar. Okay? You have China, who's holding a lot of U.S. debt. And they have a vested interest in keeping the system stable. They have a vested interest, at least in the short term, of making sure that the U.S. dollar stability remains so that this doesn't evaporate into thin air. Same thing with the Chinese. All the other NATO countries, everybody owns a little piece of the global American reserve currency pie. But China has been buying gold. Many countries and central banks have started to divest, started selling these treasury bonds. And why could that be? Well, could it be because the U.S. military supremacy is waning? Russia used to be just a gas station with nukes. That used to be the joke, right? They didn't have the technological or the mercantile economy in order to rival the West in many other respects. But they've demonstrated in this conventional war, and this is where it gets scary, because if you think about it, if the U.S. can't get 31 Abrams tanks to Ukraine tomorrow, when they've produced like 8,000 of these things, if we can't get 31, a paltry 31 on $1 trillion a year budget, you're telling me they can't get 31 tanks to Ukraine? Do you realize how much trouble we would actually be in if that were true? Let's hope that there's another reason why they can't do it, because what that would mean is that Russia is about to steamroll through Eastern Europe, if they so choose. We have a reading from one Dmitry Medvedev that we're going to talk about just a little bit. This is Bedtime Stories with the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. But I got a lot of clips and stuff to share with you guys today. But guys, this is it. It all stems from the collapse of the US dollar and them trying to avoid that from happening. So, like I say, it's not as simple as US economic hegemony bad, other countries good. No, because everybody has their hand in the cookie jar, okay? They do, in the long run, want to divest. They do want to do this dollar system collapse.
No scripture just saying in Jeremiah, yo, the nations are drunken of the wine of Babylon, yo. Therefore the nation are mad. So much US debt China have 1,113 billion. Japan 1,064 billion, yo. What? That's why China going around spending so much of US dollar, building up so much infrastructure around the world, yo. But people think that China is just here to help their country. They don't have a clue what's really going on, yo. Let me get the precept for you. This is Isaiah 14, verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stir up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It other raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy voice. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. O art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations, yo? That is how the nations are looking at America right now, yo. This is how the nations are looking at America. And this is not talking about the spiritual demon Satan, yo. When it refers to Lucifer, yo, it's talking about those that are ruling right now. You see me? Calling themselves the light bearers. We refer to them as being Illuminati. the global elites, isn't it? Because this rulership of the global elites, their main headquarter is America, yo. That's their military might. For though I said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. This is what's coming, yo. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners? All the kings of the nation, even all of them, lay in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like a abominable branch, and as the remnant, as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden on their feet. We can go and listen to some more of this.
Want to do this dollar system collapse thing with, BRICS, whatever, with the Brazil, South Africa, who else is it? China, obviously, India, Russia. Those countries want to get off the US dollars because they're worried. Because every country who Russia touches, gets sanctions put on them or gets associated with that. So countries are saying, look, at any time, the US can either seize our assets or put sanctions on us. And we're seeing that play out in Russia. So how much confidence can we have in this system? There was a time, I guess, when in theory, the US tried to police the global seaways, waterways, to facilitate this globalized world. That is breaking down.
Yes, sir. Police. Amen. Scripture says, always the armor of the armor of the world. Matafa. Not even gonna quote it, but I'm just gonna go for it. I wanna say Jeremiah 50. Let's see. I'm just gonna bring all this and wrap it up. So okay. This. Now this is Jeremiah 50 verse 23. I'm going to start at 21. A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation amongst the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware, thou art found, and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahweh had opened his armory, and had brought forth the weapon of his indignation, for this is the work of Yahweh of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Amen. These things are transpiring now before people's eyes, but them can't realize what's going on, This is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua is doing in the earth. In Isaiah and telling something for gather, yo. Let me just read that and close just because it come to mind. This is Isaiah 34, verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He had utterly destroyed them, he had delivered them to the slaughter. This is the Lord's determination, and this is what the Lord is bringing to pass. That's why in Matthew, when the Lord tell the disciples to not hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. That's why right now we are looking for that major prophecy of what the RFID microchip being mandated around the world, and people are going to see things start moving more speedy. So this was defined with this. With that, I want to say Kalalal, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Mekal Kodash. Once more, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Stone. Shalom to the elect.